In this video, we're diving into Carl Jung's perspective on emotional detachment and what it takes to break free. Carl Jung was a pioneer in psychology 100 years ago, and his insights into the mind are still changing lives today. Let's see if this wisdom still holds up. And if you've ever struggled to move on from someone, this might give you the clarity you need. So let's watch and break it down together.
Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." He believed that the human mind is like a labyrinth, with hidden passageways leading to treasures of self-discovery. But most of us never venture into these dark corners. Instead, we stay on the surface, busy with daily life, while our unconscious mind is quietly working overtime. When someone constantly appears in your thoughts, Jung believes it's not just a coincidence, it's a wake-up call from the unconscious. Picture your mind as an iceberg. The tip is everything you're aware of, your thoughts, feelings, and memories. But the massive, unseen chunk below the waterline? That's your unconscious. And guess where most of the action happens? Right down there. That's where your repressed desires, unresolved emotions, and hidden fears are hanging out. So when someone keeps resurfacing in your mind, it's often because they've triggered something buried deep in that unconscious realm. Think about it. Maybe they said something that resonated with an old memory, or maybe they embody something you wish you could be. According to Jung, these aren't accidents, they're signals. But don't worry, it doesn't mean you're doomed to be haunted by them forever. It just means it's time to pay attention to what your mind is trying to tell you. The shadow theory. Meet your shadow. No, it's not the thing you see on the sidewalk. It's the part of your psyche that you'd rather not acknowledge. Jung describes the shadow as everything about yourself that you've repressed, denied, or ignored because it doesn't fit your ideal self-image. And here's where it gets interesting. The people who stick in your mind might be your shadow in disguise. Let's say you admire someone's confidence, but deep down, you struggle with self-doubt. Or maybe you're drawn to their creativity because you've neglected your own. On the flip side, someone might annoy you to no end because they embody traits you refuse to admit you have, like arrogance or impulsiveness. Jung believed that our relationships with others are often mirrors of our relationships with ourselves. When someone occupies your thoughts, they might represent a piece of your shadow begging for attention. It's like your unconscious is saying, "Hey, remember me? We need to talk." Recognizing this can be powerful. Instead of obsessing over why you're thinking about them, you can start asking, what part of me are they reflecting? And how can I grow from this? The shadow isn't something to fear, it's something to explore. Because as Jung wisely noted, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious.
I see this so much, and I think the world is moving in this direction where we're starting to look inside of ourselves because we're realizing that changing the circumstances, moving to a different city, making more money is not going to give me happiness. And it's really diving inside myself and facing those inner demons, facing those struggles. Let's continue watching and see more insight what Carl Jung has given us.
Anima and animus, the inner relationship. Now, let's talk about two of Jung's most intriguing concepts, the anima and animus. These archetypes represent the feminine and masculine aspects of our psyche, and they play a huge role in how we relate to others. The anima is the inner feminine in men, while the animus is the inner masculine in women. But don't get too caught up in gender. These are symbolic representations that everyone has, regardless of identity. So what does this have to do with someone living in your head rent-free? Well, according to Jung, when you're fixated on someone, it's because they resonate with your anima or animus. Maybe they align with your subconscious ideal of a partner, or they bring out qualities in you that you're not fully aware of. For instance, you might be drawn to their emotional depth because it mirrors something you're craving in your own life. But here's the kicker. It's not just about attraction. Sometimes, the anima or animus can create illusions. You might project an idealized image onto someone, seeing them not as they are, but as your unconscious wants them to be. And that can lead to some pretty confusing feelings. Understanding this dynamic can be a game changer. It shifts the focus from why am I obsessed with them to what part of me are they awakening? It's a reminder that the people who occupy our thoughts often reflect the most intimate parts of ourselves. The concept of projection. Here's where things get really wild. Jung believed that much of what we feel about others has little to do with them and everything to do with us. This phenomenon is called projection. Think of it like a mental movie theater. You take your inner thoughts, desires, and fears and project them onto another person as if they're the star of the show. Let's break it down. Imagine you admire someone for their ambition. In reality, this might be a quality you wish you had more of, or a quality you already possess but haven't fully acknowledged. Or maybe you dislike someone because they remind you of something you fear about yourself, like being overly critical or emotionally distant. Whatever it is, your unconscious is using them as a screen to project parts of your psyche that need attention. Now, here's the tricky part. Because projection feels so real, it's easy to mistake these feelings for facts. You might think, they're amazing, or they're terrible, without realizing you're actually talking about yourself. Jung saw this as a major opportunity for growth. When you catch yourself obsessing over someone, good or bad, stop and ask, what am I really seeing here? What does this say about me? By owning your projections, you can reclaim those parts of yourself and stop giving other people so much power over your thoughts. It's not easy, but as Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves.
Yeah, this is really taking your life and taking big time responsibility for yourself and big time responsibility of your judgments. And really, the greatest winner when you do that is yourself. Really, it is. Everybody thinks that if I get upset at somebody else, or if somebody else did something wrong, then they're the loser and I'm the winner. And the reality is, it doesn't look good when you do that. Everybody could feel it. Everybody could see it. And we're coming to a place in the world where more and more people are waking up. And this is an amazing opportunity right now that we have in the world.
Synchronicity. It's not just a coincidence. Have you ever thought about someone only to have them text you moments later? Or maybe you've been thinking about them for weeks, and then you bump into them in the most unexpected place. It's like the universe is winking at you, or playing tricks. Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, or meaningful coincidences. And he believed it was no accident. Jung defined synchronicity as events that are connected not by cause and effect, but by meaning. In other words, when your thoughts and external events align in a way that feels significant, it's a sign that something deeper is at work. Maybe your unconscious is so focused on this person that it's influencing your perception of reality. Or maybe there's a larger, unseen force at play, linking your inner world with the outer one. But here's the kicker. Synchronicity isn't just about random chances. Jung believed it's a call to action, a moment to reflect on why this person is showing up in your life and what you're supposed to learn from it. Are they triggering an unresolved emotion? Representing a path you're afraid to take? Or maybe they're just here to remind you of your own power to create meaning. The next time something synchronistic happens, don't just shrug it off as coincidence. Take it as a nudge from the universe or your unconscious to dig deeper. After all, Jung said, Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. How to decode your thoughts. So, now that we've unpacked the theories, you're probably wondering, what can you actually do about someone who won't leave your thoughts? Jung's ideas aren't just fascinating, they're practical tools for self-awareness and growth. Here are 3 steps to decode what your mind is really trying to tell you. Step 1. Reflect. Start by asking yourself, what emotions come up when I think about this person? Are you inspired by their confidence? Frustrated by their aloofness? Drawn to their sense of adventure? Pinpointing your feelings is the first step to understanding what they represent. Step 2. Analyze. Dig deeper into what those feelings mean. For example, if you admire their creativity, it might be because you're craving more of that in your own life. Or if their rejection stings, it could be highlighting an old wound around self-worth. Try journaling or meditating on these questions to get to the heart of the matter. Step 3. Act. Use these insights to grow. Maybe it's time to work on building confidence, embracing your creative side, or healing old emotional scars. Remember, this isn't about changing the other person. It's about transforming yourself. By decoding your thoughts, you can turn an obsessive mental loop into a roadmap for personal growth. As Jung wisely said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So don't let your thoughts control you. Take the reins and uncover what your mind is really trying to tell you. Our minds are like treasure maps, with every thought and emotion leading us closer to understanding who we truly are. When someone keeps living rent-free in your head, don't ignore it. See it as an invitation to explore the depths of your unconscious and unlock parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. Because in the end, it's not just about them, it's about you. The people who linger in our thoughts are often the keys to our own growth. So, take a deep breath, dive in, and discover what your mind has been trying to tell you all along.
This video is great. And sometimes we watch these types of videos, they're great information. And my encouragement is to actually dive in. And how do I dive in? I need to meditate. I need to breathe into my body. Next time I get angry, the next time I get anxious or frustrated, what if I could just go inside myself and start exploring, breathing into my body? What am I feeling? And understand what's going on for me. And I would love to see your comments, and any comment that we put out there, I want to answer. Any good comments, I'm going to respond to on this video. Hope to see you.